Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Wrath of the Righteous with me, Raggy. Let's continue exploring the Fleshmarkets, starting with Ramisa the slave trader. The eyes of the translucent Merilith carefully observe her surroundings. It seems this is not merely an image, but a projection of the creature's consciousness, while her physical body is located somewhere far from here. Next to the Merilith fidgets a shriveled Mandragora, which utters the occasional displeased shriek. Ah, a visitor from another plane. I am Ramisa, also known as Slothskin, and I am no simple vendor, but a true artist of the slave trade. My warehouses currently stand empty, but we can always arrange for a custom order. What would you like to acquire? Perhaps your enemy's son or daughter, bound by magic and powerless in the face of anything you might wish to do to them. An attractive person who once dared reject you. The little brat who bullied you as a child. Alushinaur is a city where all your dreams come true. The Merilith licks her lips, especially if they are dirty, bloody, and sweet dreams of possession or revenge. What do you mean by artist of the slave trade? While others trade for material gain, I do it for art. Unlike others, I'm not involved in the faceless shipment of goods. Each slave who passes through my hands has a personality. Each sale is a spiritual experience. Not long ago, I sent my hunters to track down and capture a brave rebel fighting for the freedom of his people. And then I sold him, chained and dressed as a pleasure slave, to the tyrant who had enslaved his homeland. Some may call it cliché, but I call it classic. So what I see standing here is just your projection. Certainly, it is not safe to appear in the Fleshmarkets in person, especially for someone like me. You see, before I switched to this line of work, I was a humble gardener. I used to grow mandragoras. The Merilith pats her ugly pet on the head. It's a well-known fact that mandragoras grow if you water an ordinary weed with demon blood, or if you plant it in a demon's corpse. The allies, lovers, and masters of those I turned into fertilizer are still searching for me. Thus, I conduct my business remotely. In the same way, when I have slaves to sell, I first show their projections, and only after they're sold do I deliver them to the buyer. Attack. What happens if I try to kill you? Your attack causes no visible harm to the projection. The Merilith yawns theatrically. I'll outlive each and every resident of Alushinaur. I'm leaving. Ah, you again, outsider. What do you need from Ramisa? So she plays a role in the Azada mythic quest for this area. Hi, Krebus, or Krebus. I want to say Krebus. The tall thin vendor is swathed in a loose black robe. He is not a demon, but it's impossible to determine his race. His expressionless and hairless face is covered in tattoos, and looks as if it is made of wax. His eyes are motionless. As you approach, the black figure almost doubles over as he sweeps into a low bow. The vendor moves with a supernatural delicacy and grace impossible for a human. He extends his arms, also covered in tattoos, toward you. The ink on his palms comes to life and forms the words, "Greetings, I am Krebus, vendor of magical lunatics." The voice of the hand sounds contemplative. I can sense shadows, evil shadows that once served their old master, Viria Vaxis, whom I fought valiantly, but had not the strength to defeat. Beware this one, champion, for he's linked to powers both formidable and cunning. Something inside you awakens, and casts a fiery glance at the slaver. You can see the darkness curling under the thin layer of his skin, or rather a shadow resembling darkness, a demon woven of shadows. What kind of slaves can you offer? With a slight nod, Krebus points at a group of slaves standing nearby. All of them are completely motionless, their backs unnaturally straight. They seem to be drugged. Their eyes are entirely black, without a hint of pupil, and in the depths, tiny blue sparks flicker like stars in the night sky. From time to time, some of the slaves utter something uncanny or barely comprehensible, then fall silent again. Tiny ink glyphs begin to appear rapidly on the slaver's palm, as if drawn by a skilled scribe. My lunatics. Magical ingredients for ritual sacrifices. Dissolved in blood. Fermentation finished. Distillation finished. Deposited into practical self-propelled storage units inside the slaves' bodies. High magic potential. The goods are examined and certified by esteemed Willadus, approved for trading. I can sense darkness inside them. Not mundane darkness, which is merely the absence of light, but embodied darkness that begets evil, and possesses awareness instead of being emptiness and nothing. What cursed substances did he pump into these unfortunates? Keep an eye on them, for the darkness inside them waits for the right moment to be born into this world. So a bit of a spoiler, but later on in this act, the Nexus will be attacked, and the slaves that you send there will help defend it. Except for these guys. They explode into what they actually are, and you have to fight them as well as the demons that are attacking the Nexus. What have you done to these slaves, and why? Snakes made of letters crawl over Krebus' hands. They are no longer slaves. They are vessels of magic. Their bodily fluids were drained, or replaced by potions and decoctions imbued with energies. Their dried mummies were filled with the dampness of magic, and their dehydrated brains are filled with the mysteries of the universe. Top quality. Nahindrian, as they say here in Aleutian Ira. I'll buy your lunatics. The slaver gives you a false, emotionless smile. Intricate symbols appear on his forehead, twisting and merging, until they finally form figures you know. 25000. I'll pay 25,000 gold coins. Fine. Krebus' mouth falls wide open. Any human who tried to imitate his grimace would find their jaw badly dislocated. With delicate, neat movements, the vendor places the gold into his black, gaping maw, handful by handful, until he swallows all the money you've paid him. It sounds like, oh, what's his name from Spirited Away? No Face might be his name. And then he makes a delicate gesture toward the slaves and gives an approving nod. A line of letters runs over his face. Don't delay using them. Magic is unpredictable. The lunatics don't seem to realize they have a new owner. They continue to daydream quietly, staring at something inside their minds, and sometimes whispering inexplicable things. Champion, heed the advice that I give you, but I do so with a heavy heart. Do not let these unfortunates into your camp, for darkness has branded them with its ominous mark. They pose a threat. My heart tells me that any attempt to show them mercy will lead to great loss and bloodshed. Alright, you are free. Your words make no impression on the lunatics. Perhaps they don't even understand them. The words in the vendor's palms read, they cannot be set free. The lunatics stand motionless as if carved from stone. Upon closer inspection, you realize their lips are moving almost imperceptibly, but constantly. They whisper something you cannot hear. Perhaps it is a spell or a chant addressed to the emptiness behind their eyes. Champion. I already read that. Do you understand me? The unfortunates poisoned by Krebus' magic potions ignore your words. They continue to stare into the void with their eerie black eyes, whispering. Suddenly, one of the lunatics turns its head slightly toward you. He looks through you with huge black eyes that lack pupils. White motes in their depths resemble stars. The lunatic opens his mouth and speaks to you in a clear voice. You have a star in your heart, a strong one. It's beautiful. What happened to you? The lunatic's hands start to move. With a grace that seems impossible for a mortal, his hands begin drawing something in the air. Finally, the lunatic starts talking. His hoarse voice is distinct and clear. Everything inside is boiled away, and now it's empty, as dark as a well. From the bottom of the well, you can see the stars, even when the sun is high in the sky. We have boiled away, and now we see the stars. Alright, gonna leave. The lunatics continue to ignore the world around them, watching the stars that have settled within their black eyes. Yeah, I'm not sending them to camp. We just wasted money. But that's okay. Got money to waste. The strange vendor swathed in black extends his pale palm toward you, and an inky inscription appears there. Shall we trade? What kind of slaves can you offer? With a flowing motion, Krebus gives a small shrug. A short note appears on his palm. Goods are not ready. Distillation in progress. Who are you, and where did you come from? 3 words appear on the vendor's palms. Krebus, from everywhere. The secretive stranger smiles lifelessly and shrugs. His soft flowing movements are so smooth as to be almost indiscernible, as if he were not a creature of flesh, but rather of melting wax. The slaver opens his mouth wide. You see neither teeth nor tongue inside. The ink on his palm forms the words, I can communicate. Show me your magic wares. The slaver gives you another low bow. One of his eyes suddenly rolls out of its eye socket. With a neat, gentle movement, Krebus touches the eyeball and returns it to its normal place. Then he points to his wares. Yes, unfortunately you can't kill this guy, or a lot of the enemies, and or I guess traders, and then get all their loot. Alright, a Phantasmal Guide. This +5 Ghost Touch Quarterstaff allows its wearer to cast Illusion School spells as if they were 3 levels higher. We'll be buying that for Nenio. Boots of Arcane Persistence. Whenever the wearer of these boots casts the same spell for the 4th time during the day, the next spell becomes quickened as though using the Quicken Spell feat. And Quicken Spell we've seen before, but casting a Quicken Spell is a swift action. You can perform another action, even casting another spell, and the same round as you cast a Quicken Spell. A spell whose casting time is more than 1 round or 1 full round action cannot be quickened. That would also be pretty good on Nenio. He's going to cast Phantasmal Killer or Weird several times in a row. A Ring of Imminent Demise. Whenever the wearer of this ring makes an attack of opportunity, the enemy must pass a Fortitude saving throw DC 26 or be knocked down. The ring also grants a +2 competence bonus on attack and damage rolls with 2-handed weapons. What do I have equipped? Let's grab that. Robe of Malice. This robe grants the wearer a +3 dodge bonus to armor class and a +5 bonus to unarmed attack and damage rolls. It can be worn only by a monk of lawful evil alignment. A lot of meta magic here. We want... Nah, don't need any of that. Already have one of these. Unholy Shepherd. While holding this ring with a sign of Baphomet, you can summon 2 CR-14 half-fiendish Minotaurs 3 times per day. They'll fight on your side for 10 minutes. However, if you die while wearing this ring, there are summoned 2, but now as enemies. That's another good, good item. Should just be doing this. Let's go ahead and grab that too. A lot of stuff for Nenio that I don't really need, but would like to have. Now for attacks of opportunity, I don't really need this equipped. It's not bad to have, but if I'm on the front line, I'm going to get hit regardless. My armor class, it's not keeping pace with Silas. I think it's better to kill faster. I give it to the right character. And I like to give this to him, but both of these are really good. So I'll probably end up giving that to Darren. The 2 items for Nenio. And it is important to equip Nenio because her next quest, or her really only quest, since most of her quests are dialogue, we have to go through a pretty large dungeon with her, so you do want her well equipped. A Raggy? Slaves for every need. They don't last long, but the price is right. You go to quick save. I got everything I wanted from this guy. I think we'll go and take him out too. While I'm here. The strange vendor swathed in black extends his pale palm toward you, and an ink inscription appears there. Shall we trade? Attack. Won't be making any deals. Small projectiles whiz past your ear. The glass eyeballs have popped out of Krebus' eye sockets. Dense clouds of darkness flow from his impossibly wide mouth, gathering to form an eerie demonic figure. The figure bares its teeth. Pale skin, now with no trace of the living tattoos, drops to the ground like an empty robe.
Yet another obstacle. You've crossed the wrong mongrel. Begone, fiend! You won't survive me.
I gotta get my money back from the slave purchase. The Cambion gives you a swarmy bow. Looks like he once tried to split in two, then changed his mind. His chest is twice as wide as it should be, and double pupils stare at you from each of his eyes. Every time this freakish creature opens his mouth, an impressive goiter swells on his neck. His voice has an unpleasant croaking quality, as if a giant toad had taken up residence in his throat. Would you like to buy some fresh flesh? You can call me Raggy. I am at your service. Show me your slaves. I can offer you a shipment of Galarian slaves. They certainly aren't in the best shape. Galarians are notorious for their fragility, but torturing them sure is fun. As Raggy grins, you spot at least 2 rows of needle-sharp teeth in his mouth. The Galarian slaves are clad in torn rags, their bodies emaciated. Many have wounds and cuts. Their blank indifference to everything happening around them suggests these unfortunates lost any hope of escape long ago. Seela looks at the slaves with pain in her eyes. Oh, you poor souls. What have they done to you? It's over now. We'll help you. Where are you from? We come from all over, my lady paladin. Most of us were captured back in Canopus. As for me, I got caught on my way to Nerosian. I was on leave, going to visit my family. Wow, that's quite a journey you've had. But you get to Nerosian and see your family again. I swear on my life. You hear me? Hold tight. Tell the others not to lose heart. Tila turns to you and says gravely, we must get them out of here at all costs. We can't abandon our own. If we did, we'd be worse than scum. Seizing the moment and deftly spitting at the mephit in the cage, Raggy nods at him. If you wish, you can also purchase this little blighter. It won't be of much use, but you can entertain yourself for some time torturing him. He's sharp-tongued and quite resilient. I guarantee you'll spend several interesting and pleasant evenings killing this little freak. Chuckling, Raggy watches as the mephit wipes the spit from his face and mutters curses under his breath. The mephit's voice is angry, but tinged with respect. I'll buy the Galarian slaves. The double pupils flicker with greed. After feigning indecision, Raggy finally states, 15,000 gold coins. I won't accept any less. I can get 15,000 selling this wretch as meat. Except... Raggy looks at one of the slaves, who can barely stand. With a subtle motion, he throws a spell that slits the unfortunate's throat, as if he'd use a serrated knife. Raggy spits in disgust at the body on the ground. He doesn't even bother to wipe the splashes of blood from his face. That one was completely defective. It'd be shameful to offer it to a respectable buyer. The heavy silence of the hand of the Inheritor is almost palpable. It fills the air like the calm before the storm. Then the angel's voice explodes in your head, roaring and furious like a battle horn. He killed him like an animal. Oh heaven. I knew I was descending into the depths of evil. But there must be a limit. There must be a limit to it all. If not today, then someday, I will descend into this den of sin to punish the murderers and save their victims. No deal. Once again, I won't accept any less. These goods might not be of the best quality, but they're still worth something. Raggy skillfully keeps his face impassive, but you still notice his disappointment and the angry look he throws at the haggard Galarians. The ugly Cambion greets you with a false smile. Would you like to buy some fresh flesh? I have the best prices in the Fleshmarkets. Some of that method. I won't ask much for this nasty piece of crap. 10,000. And watch your fingers. This little jerk bit off a few of mine when I was chasing him. The Cambion shows you his hand. It's hard to miss the fact that the number of fingers is still far higher than usual, despite the missing ones bitten off by the method. Pay 10,000 gold coins. Bring it over. With the gesture, Raggy opens the cage by magic. You notice his fingers have far more knuckles than is typical, which makes his hands look like large spotted spiders. The mephit climbs out of the cage, and it gazes at you with its mean, round eyes. So you spot me, eh? Meaning I'm your slave now. That's funny. Why don't you just go... You miss the colorful ending of the phrase, because in trying to avoid your retribution, the mephit spreads its wings and soars upward, becoming nothing but a dark speck in the sky within moments. That's alright, we'll see him later. Raggy laughs nastily. How awkward. You should have grabbed him as soon as he was out. Here, take this as a consolation prize. This is a ring of Nahindrian courage, an extremely valuable item. All the best gladiators wear these. With a wicked gleam in his eye, Raggy bares his sharp teeth in an insolent leer. You knew that would happen. Give me back my 10,000 or else. Hey, relax, it was just a joke. I was just testing you a little. Here, have your gold back. Everything fine now? Friends? The demon hastily hands back your gold. His tense grin tells you that the two of you are almost certainly not friends. Who are you? What are you selling? Everybody calls me Raggy, and the name's just fine by me. I'm the top vendor here at the Fleshmarkets, no matter what the others think. They sell expensive, classy goods, whereas I specialize in rabble and riffraff. My goods cost 10 times less than what the others are selling, but I have 100 times more clients than everyone else. Everybody needs a slave. Cheap, maybe slightly defective, but still a slave. Big shots from the upper city prefer to do business with the others, but so what? The middle city feeds me much better. Raggy raises his voice for the last part. You notice that the demon standing nearby casts cautious glances at the insolently grinning Cambion. It seems this shabby specimen has some authority here after all. Besides, I don't just sell live goods. I sell the stuff that used to belong to these poor fools as well. You find some extremely valuable and interesting items among the loot taken during slave raids. Show me the spoils you've looted. My blackened rags. This robe grants its wearer a plus 10 competence bonus on knowledge arcana checks. It also increases the DC of spells from the witch spell list and hexes by 1. Forgot what I gave Ember. I think the blackened rags are more thematic for her. Amulet of Quick Draw. This amulet grants its wearer a plus 2 insight bonus on attack and damage rolls with ranged weapons against large and bigger enemies. It also grants a plus 4 bonus on initiative rolls. Let's grab that for Lan. And we'll get rid of the half of the pair. Rusty Dawn. Whenever the wielder of this +4 corrosive burst battle axe confirms a critical hit, it deals ×4 damage instead of the normal ×3, and weakens the enemy, making it suffer a -3 penalty to strength and constitution, scores for 2 rounds. Whenever this effect occurs, the wielder must pass an athletics check DC 37, or the axe will be stuck, making melee attacks unavailable for the next round. Brutal Decay. Whenever the wielder of this +4 corrosive burst club confirms a hit against an enemy, the target becomes covered in acid, suffering 1d6 acid damage per round for 1d4 rounds. If the wielder confirms a critical hit, the enemy instead suffers 1d10 acid damage per round for 2d3 rounds. Multiple applications of this effect don't stack. The stronger effect replaces the weaker one. You don't see a lot of clubs. That's pretty cool. Rude Stopper. Whenever the wielder of this +5 heavy crossbow lands a hit, the enemy must pass a will saving throw DC 30, or become unable to cast spells or attack for 1 round. Affected enemy is immune to this effect for 3 rounds. Call to Violence. This Cloak of Resistance +4 also grants its wearer a 30-foot aura, which grants all enraged allies in the area a +2 bonus on attack and damage rolls. That's really good. You have a Scald in your party. I'm gonna buy one of these as well. Alright, that means we need to give that to Sunshine. Alright. About the Galarian slaves. I already read that. Attack. Your slaves are lucky. They're about to see their master choke on his own blood. Out of nowhere, a knife with a wide jagged blade appears in Raggy's hand. Spinning the knife skillfully with his 2 numerous fingers, he leers at you without fear. You want to dance.
This will be quick. Yeah!
Yeah, I want to dance. Please someone buy me. If no one buys me, my master will kill me and feed me to his monstrous pets. I actually wanted this loot. The slaves stand huddled in a tight circle. Knives picked up from the ground glint in the hands of some. It is almost as if the scent of demon blood has imbued their exhausted bodies with new strength. They're clearly no longer willing to simply watch their lives be bargained away. One of them, a young man with an injured leg, flashes a bloodthirsty grin at you. So what's next, sir? Should we run? Or should we face death here? We won't go back in a cage. We've had enough of this demon filth. Explain to the slaves how to get to the Nexus. You can take refuge at my camp. Amade bless you. Thank you for standing up for us. We'll never forget your kindness. The ragged slaves huddle in a tight group and hurry toward the exit. They're frightened and tired. They can see a glimmer of hope and defiance in their eyes. You did as every true Galarian should by saving the people from your homeworld from slavery. Thanks to people like you, my heart holds no doubts that we'll emerge victorious from this struggle. I really have one more person to talk to in the slave markets, flesh markets. Get back to the Nexus. I've got a couple things to give to my companions. And the next time we'll head to the Battle Bliss. We might stop and talk to everybody, including the slaves. The slaves don't have actual dialogue, it's just the hover text. Ooh. See, I'm always split between this one and this one. I think we'll do this instead. And where's our buddy Darren? Alright, I think we're all set. Alright, I'm gonna call it here. Next time I think we'll rest up. We'll explore our camp, make sure we're caught up with all the conversations, then we'll return to the Battle Bliss. I guess go to the Battle Bliss for the first time. And knock that out. But for now, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.